Ba 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 da.
You can barely hear it.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Hey! Been trying to meet you.
Jump in this.
Okay.
I'm here, very blessed, today with Boston legend and drummer of Pixies, David Loveray.
Thank you, I'm now a legend.
The punk scene is still here, alive and well. Why do you think Boston is so big in punk, and why do you think they love punk so much?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I always thought it was the radio that did everything. It was the radio in the colleges, because the colleges brought...
Shout out to Harvard Radio.
Got all the students from everywhere, different backgrounds, and a lot of them played instruments, just like the Pixies. You know,
Yeah.
we started somewhat of, because of school and Charles and Joe going to school. But I don't know how it lends itself to being punk.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
All these
where that
rascal
comes from.
kids getting angry at their schools, probably.
Yeah, don't know that though.
So you're an electrical engineer originally.
Yes.
And that helps with music, maybe?
Well, it did early on, and sometimes now, because early on, when we would rent a van and drive around and play all places,
Yeah.
I could
You
fix,
would set everything up?
I would fix the gear.
Ah.
So if amplifiers or pedals broke, things like that.
Soldering.
Yeah, honestly, and even I would trade my services, because a lot of those days you would meet other bands in other regions, and
Yeah.
they offer you a place to stay.
Yeah.
You couldn't always afford a hotel all the time, even if it was $15 a night.
Yeah.
So you'd stay. A lot of the bands would just share places, and I would fix their TVs.
Yeah.
I would fix appliances, all that, just because I could.
Yes.
It paid our way through it. So.
And it also landed you a job at Radio Shack.
Yes, before I was an engineer, I worked at Radio Shack, which I'm crying now because of what's happening.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It hurts me because
You were one of the originals.
Radio Shack was I worked there for 5 years, back when I was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
This dude was raised by Radio
Yeah.
Shack.
And the thing is, I used to visit it before. It was my like Wizard of Oz, going to the
Of course, that's home.
it was amazing. They had all resistors and capacitors, diodes, semiconductors, transistors.
So many semiconductors, you wouldn't even believe it.
And
It's like a kid in a candy store.
And then over the years, Radio Shack started going into cell phones, and then they just started getting rid of their little doodads and all the gadgets and stuff. And it
You're gonna
just,
stop, you're gonna make me cry.
I am. I was at Radio Shack. I went.
Don't even tell me.
I know. It's good. I had to find a Radio Shack today because I had to go buy a little antenna for a magic thing I'm doing tomorrow.
Oh, yes, you're legit. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So I walked in and the store was closing, and everything was like you could buy something for $60 for $17. But all the stuff they had that was they sold all
You
the
should
good
have bought
stuff.
everything, though,
Yeah.
with your own Radio Shack.
And I bought one of the antennas, and the guy said, "Why don't you buy the rest of them?"
That's so funny. So yes, you're a magician.
Yes.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
How has that been? What's the difference between being a magician and a musician? Give me that.
Well, other than two letters, the U and the A, magician,
That's it. Come on, next question.
The only thing that's good about it, if I ever have a business card that says musician,
Yeah, you can
if
just
if this band breaks up, I can just use whiteout and put it.
So I found your high school yearbook,
Oh, what?
and in your high school yearbook, you said you had 3 goals. Do you remember what those were?
Yes, and actually they all almost came true. One was to be an electronic engineer.
Boom, done.
That. One was to be a rock drummer.
Boom,
in a band.
done.
And one was to play with Rush.
Yes,
Rush. And I was, after the Pixies broke up, I was in a band called Cracker.
Okay.
Cracker, Rush asked Cracker to open up for them.
Boom!
But-
Oh no! This is worse than the Radio
This should be the
Shack.
Holy Triad, or whatever it's called. But Dave Lowry and Johnny Hickman, who were in Cracker, they were like, "We're not really a Rush band." And I was like, "Please, if you do this, it's like I'll
It's your one
blow up or
dream.
something like that." But I came pretty close. To
Yeah,
those
I mean, those are pretty big dreams,
Yeah.
too, so they're not easy. We're going to make sure you play with Rush by the end of this interview.
Right.
Talk straight to the fans. Tell them about what they should know about Boston and music and Pixies. Go.
Gosh, well, Boston, I've traveled the world, number one. And out of all the cities I've been to, and I'm not biased, Boston is awesome. It's got everything. It's got seasons, you have the restaurants, you have the people. Where I lived in California for 30 years, if can I swear on this?
Please, swear away.
In California,
The more swearing, the better.
if someone doesn't like you, they're like, "Oh, how are you today?" Like that. In Boston, it's like, "Fuck you."
Fuck you.
It's reality.
Fuck you!
So, I grew up here and I love coming back. I love Boston. It was great with the bands here. We had so many places to play. We started here. We got out of here. I wouldn't say we got out of here, but within 9 months, we had a record deal.
Yeah.
And cool, it just worked out.
Game
Yeah,
changer.
it was all because all the clubs here, and we were able to work our way up through good Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, going up on Friday night, Saturday night, and our popularity grew and everything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, Boston's near and dear. I still have family here. I come back whenever I can, especially with food.
Yes.
Pizza, Italian subs, seafood, cannolis, roast beef sandwiches. I'm here for it.
It's game over.
A wave of mutilation, wave of mutilation, wave of mutilation.
Well, thank you so much, David Lovering of the Pixies here on WHRP. Thank you for being with us. Boston legend.
Thank you, Aaron.